Do you know a happy couple that has been married over 50 years? Think about it. I just met an amazing couple yesterday that has been married for 59 years. Hi, my name is Terry. I like to be called the children auntie, and this is Closet Conversations. But today, we're in my office. We're not in the closet. But our closet conversation today, we're going to be talking about relationships in 2025. Now, this might be a part one, part two. I've been trying my best to avoid talking about relationships because I'm not a relationship expert. And there's so many people talking about relationships on social media. They have their opinions, they have all these podcasts. It's just a lot going on talking about relationships. They talking about the different apps that they're on. It's just a lot. So I've been trying my best to not talk about relationships. A dear friend of mine told me when I first started Closet Conversations over a month ago, they said, Terry, you need to talk about relationships. I said, I will not. And then yesterday, I met an amazing couple, had a great conversation while we were waiting on our to-go order at a restaurant. And I said, man, I'm going to talk about that this week. But what's interesting is a couple of weeks ago, I was out of town and went to dinner with a family member of mine. And she brought her mother, and her mother brought some friends. Great dinner, great conversation. But when I tell you those ladies had me clutching my pearls, and these ladies are in their 50s. I wanted to kind of chime in on my conversation with them as well because it was two totally different dynamics. A group of single women that are established, very beautiful and stable in their life. And only one of them is married, one of them is recently divorced, and one just flat out says she don't want to get married. And then yesterday I had a conversation with two beautiful people that are in their 80s, and they've been married for 59 years. They have one daughter that's in their 50s, and they have two grandchildren. Now, my conversation with them yesterday, and I'm going to share it real briefly because I'm going to try my best to maybe do this in two parts. Hopefully I can get everything out in 20 minutes. We'll separate it, all right? Yesterday, just having a beautiful conversation with them, and one of the questions I asked them was, what would you advise someone who is aspiring to have a meaningful relationship in marriage like you and your wife have had for 59 years? And he looked at me and he chuckled. He said, my key is yes, dear. I said, that's all you say? He said, yes, dear, to everything. So we started laughing. And he said, honestly, it is for us to not go to bed angry. And then the wife said, forgiveness. If you are not in a place where you can truly forgive and move on, you're not ready to be married. I said, ooh, that's powerful. I said, in this cancel culture that we have in today's society, people don't forgive, and they certainly don't forget. They have this saying, oh, I forgive, but I'm not going to forget. Like, how are you really releasing what was done to you and have the ability to truly move forward if you don't really let that go? And I'm not talking about toxic situations where you were physically and mentally and verbally abused. I'm talking about you just may have, really weren't that compatible with that person, and you thought you were, and y'all got into a relationship and just didn't need to get in a relationship. And why you just couldn't part ways peacefully, right? So thinking about what this beautiful couple said to me, they've been married almost 60 years. He said that she's his friend. She said that he's her friend, and that they value their friendship and they value each other's opinion. You really, it's hard to see that these days in this new wave of dating where people seem to really value each other. And you can tell by a person's posture, their disposition. You can tell by their attitude whether they're really, in sync with their partner or not. As the people are calling it, vibes. You can tell by their vibe. You can tell by their energy. You can tell whether or not you are really in tune with the person that you are saying you are interested in, or you're in a relationship with, or you're dating. You can tell those things. But let's talk about it. And I made notes and I have them on my computer. Again, I'm gonna try my best to get this done in 10 minutes and then we'll just do a part 2. But let's think about this swipe culture. People are on apps and they're looking for love on apps, and they can just swipe right and swipe left and see if a person is a match based off, some questions, and they're trying to see if it's compatible before they even have a real conversation. And what's beneath all those notifications. You have to make sure this person is aesthetically pleasing to you, because you're looking at them and you're trying to see if you're physically attracted to them. And then at that point, you're looking at, I guess some hobbies or things that they're liking. I don't know. I'm not on the app, so you have to kind of educate me. But you're looking at some things or interests or hobbies to see if they're similar to yours. And then that's when you're making the initial contact, or I don't know how that goes, but I'm old school. You meet somebody at the store, the gas station, and they approach you. At this point, how are you making that initial contact with somebody that you're saying that you're interested in? And are you really looking to make a meaningful connection? What are you really looking for? And do you know what you're looking for? People are in situationships, and now they've grown fatigue of those things where they're just going with the flow. I'm not a go with the flow type of girl. You need to tell me where we're going. You need to tell me that there's a roadmap, and I'm absolutely going to follow it. But if we're just on the road to nowhere, how do you expect me to follow and you are leading me to nowhere? Where they do that at? A lot of people are admitting that they've been in a situationship, or they're in one now. Why would you settle for that if that's not what you want? And if that is what you want, what led you to that place to say, I don't want a meaningful connection with someone? Whew. Does money really matter? Are you dating specifically for wealth? Now, you can say you don't date broke. I understand. But you can't be broke and saying you don't date broke. You need to have something to offer other than what's between your legs. Okay? Let's just be honest. Are you trying to search out people in a genuine way, or are you just looking on apps? Are you connecting with people on apps for a hookup? And you know what I mean when I'm saying hookup. I hear people talk about them apps all the time and how they just, they be finding people that they can whoop the whoop. Are you looking just for that on those apps? Like, is that what you're looking for? And if that's just what you're looking for, it's so much involved into an intimate connection. It's not just, I'm finna, physically go sleep with someone and have no attachment whatsoever. You are connecting in a soulful way and creating a soul tie, even if you just do this one time. So, you having a brief moment of satisfaction is worth you risking your soul, your health, your mental health, your physical health, your overall well-being. Because just as sure you lay up with man or woman, just as sure as you lay up, it's an exchange happening. Now, you may say, hey, I'm making this exchange so I can feel this benefit of a climax. But the reality is you're getting more than that. Is it worth it? And I'm talking to single people, unmarried folk. I'm unmarried. So I'm talking to the people who are not married and really wanting to talk to the people who are desiring a meaningful connection and just haven't reached that place yet. You know, the Lord told me the other day, I was talking to him in prayer, and he said to me clear as day, and this had nothing to do with relationship, it was something that I'm trying to do in my life, and I told the Lord that I didn't know what to do. And clear as day, he said, Terry, you're not confused, you're impatient. Now, this was about something totally separate, but I grabbed hold to that and I said, oh my God, I'm impatient in a lot of ways in my life. Not just this one that I am praying and asking for guidance for. I need to sit still and be okay in my waiting and not become impatient. And truthfully, that has led me to make some haste decisions in business and in relationships. You're not confused. You might just be impatient. Now, I need to finish this. So I'm at 11 minutes, and you know I try to keep this at 10 minutes or less. So we're going to have to come back. I got to do a part 2, and hopefully I won't have to do a part 3. But I want to get to, are we searching for compatibility, or are we trauma bonding with people? Are we chasing a financial lifeline, or are we just looking for physical connections? How are all of these things really benefiting our overall life? We got to come back for part 2. All right? Remember, give yourself some grace. Put a smile on your face. We'll come back for part 2, talking about relationships in 2025. See y'all soon.